And so I'm walking back, and I go, and I get back on the bus after the long day. And I'm sitting there, and I'm still not sitting next to a stranger or anything like that. I go home, I do my thing, get up, and I'm eating, and I take a shower, and then I go back, and I'm sitting on my bed before I go to bed that night, and I just realized, I've got to do something. Like, this is weird. Like, my heart is restless. I'm just thinking it's weird that people don't talk to people. I'm racing. Like, my heart is racing. My mind is racing. I'm like, I got to talk to someone. And this isn't a Christian thing. Like, I wasn't a Christian at the time. This is just a people thing. It's weird that people don't talk to people. Okay, so I make this decision. I make this decision in my heart that I'm going to do this thing. And then this is what I decided to do. I said, I am going to talk to somebody new every single day. And I didn't put parameters on it. I didn't say, I'm going to talk for this many days, or this is what I'm going to talk to people about, or this is how I'm going to engage a conversation. I didn't have any of that. I just decided I need to talk to people. And so the next day, I decide, okay, I'm going to do it, right? So here we go. I'm in my bed that night, and I'm sleeping. Okay, I wake up, and I'm amped now. It's like, I'm going to talk to somebody today, right? So I go, I'm brushing my teeth just like I used to do, and I go and I get on that bus, and my chest is puffed out just a little bit. Like, I'm going to be the cool guy talking to somebody new, right? So I get on the bus, you ready? Walk in, get on, and I sit down, and guess who's sitting next to this time? Still my backpack. Okay, I'm terrified. Like, you say you're going to do something, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, but the moment you're there, the moment you see that stranger, like, there is no way. Like, I don't know that person. Why am I going to talk to him? I'm not going to talk to him, right? So I just sit on the bus, and I like live in shame for 20 minutes as I'm on my way to school. And so I get off the bus. Okay, get off. Whoop. And I'm living in this shame while I'm there at Ohio State. And so I'm just walking around, and I'm like, dang it, I didn't talk to anyone on the bus, right? And this is Ohio State, so we've got 60,000 people. I mean, there's people on my left, people on my right, there are people absolutely everywhere. So what I decide is that I'm going to go to the building that I always go to. I'm going to go to Derby Hall. I do all my homework there, I study there, all my work is completed there. Like, I'm going to go up to the exact spot that I always work from. And if someone is there, then I'll talk to them there. So Derby's over here, and I'm walking, and I get there, and there's little, curves, so I open the door, and I get over here, and I'm going up the steps. In Derby Hall, there's a lot of steps, so you are out of breath by the time you get up, okay? And I'm walking, and I look at my spot, and look who it is. My wife. Oh, just kidding. I only talked to her for one day, but I talked to her for one day. And what's crazy is she's hot, right? Like, this is a good-looking chick. Now, not only am I talking to a stranger, but she's gorgeous. Like, you call him Asian, I call him Bayesian, right? And see, I can say things like that because I'm a single pastor, but don't tell Pastor Chad I said that. So I'm talking to Shiori, okay? So I'm sitting right here, and backpack's gone. We got a woman. Okay, I'm moving up in the world. Shiori's right here, and I look at her and I say, hey girl, can I get your number? No, that's not what I said. Not what I said. I said, hey, my name is Indy, and I talk to somebody new every single day. Let's talk. And so we talked, and it was a day that changed my life forever. And it was a day that set the pace for many people I interacted with in future years. It changed their life forever, and maybe the story would even change your life forever. The next day I woke up and I went out and I said, I did it one day and it was incredible. I need to do this again. I need to talk to somebody new today. And so I went out, talked to another person, and I decided that at the end I'm going to ask every single person the same question. And this was the question. If you could only say one thing to me, what would you say? And a lot of people said really cool things. And then some people said things like this guy, Ray. Never drink beer before liquor. Come on, raise your hand if that's good advice. You're like, I know it, like, I've been there and done that, good advice. Okay, raise your hand if you're a middle schooler and you're like, I'm never gonna drink alcohol anyway, because that's a stupid idea. I've never had a beer, I'm never gonna have a beer, because there's at least 20 people in this room who could look you as a middle schooler in the face and say, never have a beer, because it ruined my life. Okay, that's a tangent, but I talked to Ray. There were other people that I talked to as well, okay, like Devon. There was one day and I was walking on campus. I was by the Wendy's, because I basically lived at the Wendy's. $4, you guys know. Four, come on. So I'm by the Wendy's, and there's this guy, his name's Devon. He's selling candy bars on the street, and he's trying to make enough money to buy football uniforms. And so I pull him aside, and I'm like, hey, this sounds like a pedophile. It's not, okay? I said, hey, come into Subway with me. I'll buy you food, and we can talk. So he's like, okay. And so we go into Subway, and we're eating, and we're talking. And while we're doing that, a man comes up to us, and it's the homeless man. It's a hurting man. And he says, hey, do either of you have anything at all that you could give me that you could help with? And I said no. Devon said no. And the man went out. And so I asked Devon that question. If you only had one thing to say to me, what would you say? And when I asked that, that man, he came back. Okay, it was only a couple minutes later, he came back. And he said, I just got to ask you one more time. Do you have anything at all that you could give to me, that you could help me with? And before Devon even looked me in the eye, he reached in his pocket, and he grabbed every single dollar that he had, every single cent that he made, and he gave it over to the man. The man walked out. Devon looked at me. His tears were rolling down his face. You can see it in the picture. And he said, I pray that there would be no more poor people in the world. There were more people I met, like Jim. Jim was an astrophysicist or whatever at Ohio State, astronomy. Okay, studied astronomy. And he did it for 40 years. And when I talked to him, I said, wow, you probably learned a ton of things about the universe, a ton of things about God. He said, yeah. I spent all of my years here trying to disprove God, to disprove Jesus, to disprove religion. And in the process, I realized how absolutely magnificent and magical the universe and how perfect it actually was. And so if I only had one thing to tell you, I would say establish a fundamental relationship with God. And so every single day I'm doing this. I did this for 365 days, and day after day, and week after week, and person after person. I talked to a lot of people, but there were some people who had qualities that were radically different than everybody else. And there were some people who smiled just a little bit different, who had hope when other people didn't have hope. They had something that I wanted. They had some type of life that anybody would want. It's not that they were better than other people, but they were different than other people. And the only thing that all of them had in common was Jesus. And the significance behind this is that when you only have one thing to say, you speak about the one thing that matters most. And so 5 months went by. I started September 29, 2015. It's now February 2016, and I finally, in that moment, gave my life fully over to Jesus. I've been here a year and a half. Some of you probably didn't know that I only gave my life over that long ago, but it took me a while to get there. And the reason it took me a while is because I had questions just like you have questions right now in your head. And I had questions like, what about my sister who just came out to me as gay? And what about my other sister who just came out to me as transgender? What about all the people in the world who are never even going to hear about the name of Jesus? What's going to happen to them? I had questions, you have questions. But what I realized is that every single time I talked to one of them, every single time I talked to a spirit-filled person, all of my questions went away. Because in them I saw the image of God. And so, you're sitting in the pews right now and you're thinking, Indy, I'm the one. Like, I'm the one that you were talking about. You said you were going to talk to me, but you just spent 15 minutes talking about yourself. Like, what's in it for me? Why did I even show up today? Did I really just come for the food? Do you have something for me? Here's what I have for you. Okay? There's kids in this room right now, and there's adults in this room right now who aren't living fully devoted to God because you feel like you haven't seen God directly or heard from God directly. But it'd be awesome, right? Like, it would be awesome to just see Jesus right here or see God right here. Raise your hand if you think that would be awesome. It'd be cool, right? Let me show you a secret. Mom, come up. I'm for real. Come up here. Mom, these people want to eat. Come on, we gotta move this. But I respect you because you're my mother. Right, come on, this way. By the way, this is the first time my mom's ever been here ever, so this is amazing. She's from Cincinnati, by the way. tell everyone your name.
Hi, I'm Susan.
But you can call her Mom. So Mom, you may not be God, but when I see you, I see God. And you may not be God, but when you talk, I hear God. Because you are created in the image of God. Male and female, He created them. In His image, He created them. So if you want to see God, see people, if you want to hear God, let's talk. Because I'm not God, and my mom's not God. Well, we're created in the image of God, and we were made with the same breath that God used to speak us into creation. So with that same breath, we give glory to God and worship Him. If you want to know God, if you want to see God, then look at people, because people represent God. Okay? Can I get an amen? Yeah. Mom, you're good. Okay, kids, hey, if you're in middle school right now and you're zoned out, you're falling asleep, Mom, wake them up for this part. This is the only part that matters. So, if you're in middle school, I just want you to know this. This is really important. This isn't just for kids. This is for adults as well, everyone. I don't want you to go through your adult years or your childhood years or your teen years looking at people who don't live like you or talk like you or believe like you or think like you and look at them any different. And the reason for that is because the light that's in you is also the light that's in them. And that light tells the stars what to do. Okay? So there is power in the person who is different than you. That's why we love all people. Amen? Amen. So from that, I'm going to get to my notes, guys. Isaiah 58, okay? In Isaiah 58 it is written that the one who looks at the disgusted naked, okay, the person who is naked, the one who grabs the naked and clothes them and feeds them and gives them a pillow under their head and takes the homeless poor into their house, it is those who will be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to live in, okay? And I'm not just speaking to kids right now, okay? I'm talking to parents as well. And there's a lot of people in this room right now who, you are that person, right? You are the one who needs to be fed, who needs clothing, who needs a place to rest your head. Don't you know that Jesus was in the same situation as you? And if I can say one thing in my final message that I'm here speaking tonight, it's that God is not done with you yet as the one. God is going to use your story to bring salvation to other people 5 years down the line who are living your same story, because you're going to be able to show them that there's a way, and that way may be narrow, but there is a way, and you get to look at that person and be a part of their story, of their redemption down the line, okay? But Lazarus, maybe you heard of him, maybe you haven't, Bible character, he's 3 days dead, gone in the grave. Everybody's looking at him saying he's too far gone, he's been drunk too long, 44 years on the street, there's no way anything could happen to him. Jesus chose him to lift him up and raise him to life, just to show some religious people that it wasn't by the power of man, but it's the power of God that dead people get raised to life. You are not too far gone. You are here on a purpose. You're right where God wants you, just like Lazarus was right where God wanted him. And in fact, Jesus died when he went to save Lazarus. He already gave up his life for you. It's a free run for you. You have a way. You're not too far gone. So, landing this plane, moms, if you want to wait, did I even talk about the checkout line? I didn't, whatever. Okay, pretend like I did. This ending will make more sense. Moms, if you want to keep going through the self-checkout line, you can guess. I didn't even talk about that part, whatever. Bear with me. Guys, it was so good. Should we go back? No, we won't. Hey, the person who's sitting next to you right now, or maybe the person who's sitting next to you in class, or the person who's sitting next to you at work, or maybe the person who's sitting next to you on the sidewalk, instead of passing them by next time, maybe you should stop. And maybe you should talk, because they are worthy of more than 1.25 trillion stars. And maybe, in fact, maybe that person that you stopped for would have more to offer to you than you or me could ever offer to them. So, this is my last time speaking here. Maybe I'll be back, but this is my last time leading a Tuesday night here at the Dream Center. If you're a person that I've had a relationship with, that I've grown with for a long time, I want you to know I'll be back, I'll be around. The reason why I'm stepping back is to invest in this next generation. We call it the now generation. And the reason for that is because I believe that this generation has more to offer than I do alone. I believe that more lives are going to get changed and restored and healed through this next generation coming up than myself. And so I believe great things are going to happen. Stevie Carpenter, if you know her, she's going to be taking over for me on Tuesday nights. Can we give her a clap? And Andy will still be here as well. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pray for everybody, and then afterwards you can go downstairs and eat. Cool? Hey Jesus, we enter your presence as one body, as a bunch of kids who just love you with all of our heart, with fullness of joy, Lord God. You are a good Father to us, no matter the situation that we are in right now. I know there's a lot of hurting people in this room right now. I pray that we would not be fixated on the pain, but we would be fixated on your glory, just as you were not fixated on the nails, but you were fixated on the salvation that would come to millions of people through your faithfulness.